All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is day 5, quarantined, and today we're gonna do a little bit of work right now in the morning because I wanna update the wall here with some paint. As you can see, the middle section of the wall here was painted. There's a defined line here where I didn't paint anything past this. And then if you go over to this side, there's a defined line right past the flag here where I never painted anything here. You see, a number of months ago I was doing something here and I only needed so much width on this wall, so I painted it white. But I have more paint under here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this out, do a little bit of work, and then later on we're gonna run to the supermarket because I'm running out of MREs. This is my last one, and we need to get some food. Now, all kidding aside, I'm not actually eating these. However, I did get this from a customer, and it's a pretty interesting story, and I wanna tell you about it today. What I'm thinking I'll probably do when I get this wall painted, this table just has all sorts of gear and stuff on it, but I have a pegboard here that I can put on the wall that I put together one day, but is never used. So I can hang this on the wall. Kind of like this here, I can just put it up on the wall in front of the table. So I can put on here all different, you know, tripod extensions and cameras and microphones and, you know, who knows, whatever. I don't know. Definitely, it'll definitely add to the wall. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the benefits of being tall. You can paint right up to the ceiling from your feet. So what do you think? Shaping up already. You can see a little bit of a line here, but once this dries, it should all blend in because this is a flat white. If you look, it's actually Behr Premium Plus, has a lifetime warranty, and it's paint and primer in one for a durable, long-lasting finish with very low odor. And I can tell you, it doesn't really smell like paint down here, which is good. Just gonna trim the bottom here. I'm only doing one coat. It's enough to treat it. And then we'll go do this section over there. All right, that looks good. Guys, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna set you down here and just keep an eye on this for me, make sure it dries. How you guys doing over there? That paint drying? You keeping a good eye on it for me? Yeah? All right, good. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna knock this section out. We'll be done with the painting for today, and I'll get into the story about the customer that gave me that MRE and what car he bought and the whole story. I think it's a pretty cool story. So just give me a couple more minutes, let me finish this up. All right, guys, the story of how I got this MRE. You know, it started way back, 2006 or 7, sometime around then. I was working at the dealership. Now, this was the previous owner to the dealership for which I work right now. We were in our older showroom. We weren't in the new building yet, nothing like that. It was a long time ago. And at that time, we had a BDC. It was basically one guy, so when he was off or he wasn't around, as salespeople, we would take the phone calls. You know, we would basically take any phone leads or internet leads that had come in. So the phone rings into the dealership. I grabbed the call. I answered. How you doing? I'm David. You know, how can I help you out? And a gentleman was on the phone. He said, listen, I'm up in upstate New York. I want to come down. You guys have a silver Corvette down there. I want to trade my car in and I want to take that one home today if we can make the numbers work. I said, okay, great. That sounds excellent. When do you want to come down? He's like, well, actually, I want to leave now. Can you get the car ready this way? If everything works out, I can roll out in the new vehicle. I said, sure, absolutely. Let me get on that right now. How far away are you? About an hour and 20 minutes. I said, okay, great. I went to work. I brought the car in the back, get the car detailed, get everything ready for it. This way, when this gentleman comes down, we'll go out, we'll test drive it, I'll demo the car, and at that point, we'll appraise his trade and we'll see what we can do. We put a deal together. Sure enough, in about an hour and a half or so, the gentleman came down. I went outside and introduced myself. The car was all ready to go, so I showed him the vehicle. We hopped in it, went for a drive. He liked it. It was just a matter of, you know what, if we can make the trade, number right, then I'll take the car home. So it seemed like a real cut, dry, easy deal. The guy was very calculated and very deliberate with actions. I remember him being very, very calm and just a really cool dude. I would say he was probably about 10 years older than me. At the time, I was 26 or 27, so he was probably in his mid 30s or so. And at this point, we basically go back inside and we kind of just waited for the trade appraisal. The trade number came back fine. He was happy, so we ended up putting all the paperwork together, gave it to my business office. This way they can get all the finance contracts and all that sort of stuff together. And at that point, he would take the car home. So, one of the things we did was we went outside to the Corvette and I basically showed him how everything worked and got him really acclimated with the car and how to take the roof off and, all that sort of stuff. We also, at that point, transferred all of his stuff from his trade over to the new car. And while doing that, I remember him looking over at me and saying, hey, you want an MRE? I said, yeah, sure. So he gave it to me. And, I tend to hang on to things. It ends up in storage bins over here in the basement. But, for whatever reason, I always felt I never had an urge to get rid of it. I always just felt the need to keep it. And that's where the story really gets interesting. So now fast forward a whole bunch of years and, I'm living my life and I'm really getting into military style books. With everything that was going on in Afghanistan and Iraq over such a long period of time, you all know the stories, so like for instance, Lone Survivor, everybody knows that story. American Sniper, everyone knows who he is. No Easy Day, this was a book about the Bin Laden raid. So I got into reading all these different military style books. One day at Barnes & Noble's, I'm looking through what next book I'm going to get and read, and I pick up this, The Only Thing Worth Dying For, How 11 Green Berets Forged the New Afghanistan. So to me, it seemed interesting. It was going to be right in line with all the books that I kind of enjoy reading. This is the premise of the book. On a moonless November night, 5 Black Hawk helicopters infiltrate southern Afghanistan, dropping a special forces team deep behind enemy lines in the mountains of the Uruzgan province. It is just weeks after September 11th, 2001. The armies of the Northern Alliance, aided by the U.S. military, are routing Taliban forces hundreds of miles to the north. But here in the Pashtun tribal belt, the Taliban's own backyard, this gentleman and 10 men under his commander are on a seemingly impossible mission to destroy the Taliban from within and prevent a civil war from consuming the country. Armed with only the equipment they can carry on their backs, shockingly scant intelligence, and their mastery of guerrilla warfare, the team must somehow ferment a tribal revolt and force the Taliban to surrender. This lone team of Green Berets has one ally, Hamid Karzai, a little-known Pashtun statesman who has returned from exile and is being hunted by the Taliban as he roams the countryside raising a militia. 3 weeks later, Karzai is the interim leader of Afghanistan and every member of this team is either wounded or dead. Just an incredible story. And, reading this, as soon as I read the gentleman's name in the book jacket here, it rang a bell. I was like, wait a minute. I know this guy's name. I sold this guy a Corvette. So the next time I went back to work, I hopped on the computer, I started connecting the dots and realized this is the same guy. This guy bought a Corvette for me, years earlier, and years prior to that, he was one of the first people in Afghanistan avenging 9/11 for the American people, for the United States of America. And to me, this is really special because this guy's an all-out American hero, And these guys in these special forces teams, they go out and they do these jobs and they're silent professionals. They go out, they do the job, they come back, and there's no fanfare, there's no parades. They basically come back to regular life and no one even knows who they are. For me, it was so cool reading this and finding this out so many years later that in the past I had dealt with somebody that to me is like the highest level of American hero. I only hope that the experience he got at the dealership was really satisfactory to him and he really enjoyed his car and all that sort of stuff. But, great book. If you're into military style books, I definitely highly recommend this as a good read. And now, because of this, we're going to take our MRE, we're going to pop it on the wall behind us right here as a memory of the gentleman that bought the Corvette from me in the past and all he's done for our country. So if you see a member of the military, you know, out there, you know, in the world, thank them, you know, thank them, thank their families, because it's a tremendous sacrifice. And, you know, we owe them a debt of gratitude as civilians. So again, anyone out there in the military watching this right now, thank you for your service. I hope you guys enjoyed this upload, this video and this story. And today was day 5 of quarantine. Tomorrow's day 6. I'll see you then.